everyone, it's Miss Sote. So another feature that a lot of you were asking about on your graphing calculators was interesting small features that weren't necessarily related to graphing. So that's what we're going to work on today, just kind of using different features of Desmos in your graphing calculators in ways that you might not originally have known existed. So to start, this is going to be one of the few videos where we actually don't even graph anything. So we're only going to work on this corner over here. And if you notice, when I click my thing right here, this popped up, but it might not always pop up for you. So in the bottom left corner, there's this thing called the keypad. And the nice thing about the keypad, it has a ton of shortcuts for you. So maybe when we were doing a bunch with domain and range, you wanted to use the greater than or less than symbols. There are definitely shortcuts by typing like greater than and then the equal symbol, and it immediately makes it for you. But some of them you kind of need to click in order to use. So absolute value was definitely important because we've just done functions with that. So you can definitely use that. But I really want to focus on this button up here called functions because it has some cool features associated with it that you might not have already known about. And so let's look at these functions for a second. The first one is trig, which you're not in a trig class right now, so we're not really going to focus on those quite yet. Stats is also another thing. We're not in a stats class, so we're not going to focus on that much. This one we're also not going to focus on, but the last one, miscellaneous, has some cool things. And some of the things I want to point out are the LCM and GCD, because I think they're really cool features. So if you click LCM or if you type LCM, it gives you the least common multiple between two numbers. If you don't like clicking on this function thing, you can also just type it out. So I'm going to type out like GCD of 2 and 30. And you get that it's 2, or like 6 and 30, you get that it's 6. 7 and 30, the GCD is 1. This is a really cool feature. I feel like a lot of people kind of forget how to calculate LCM and GCD, and so sometimes when it pops up, they're like, oh heck. But Desmos has it built in for you, which is super nice. Another thing I want to point out is this button right here. So it's the nth root. So something that we might work on later is doing like cubic root graphs. So we've done square root graphs in the past, but sometimes you can put different roots. So say I wanted to do like the third root of x plus 2. This is a nice way to be able to get that feature. Another way to kind of shortcut around this is to just put it to the 1/3 power, and you'll see you get the same thing. But some people like this visualization a lot more, and so that's available for you in the functions thing. You can play around with a bunch of these other ones. The rest aren't really things you might have learned before, but the last thing I really want to point out is this nice feature that Desmos has where it converts any fraction to a decimal and any decimal back to a fraction almost immediately. So if I took the answer like 7/20, if you look, it immediately gives me 0.35. Or if I want 0.35 to be converted to a fraction, all I have to do is click on this button over here and it turns it into a fraction for me. I know a lot of you have been switching between fractions and decimals in a lot of your answers so far, so this could be a really cool feature to help you out with that if you want to have it consistent and you don't necessarily want to simplify your fraction by hand. So again, these are just some cool little features of Desmos. They're not necessarily like mandatory to know, but they are really cool, and it's kind of nice that Desmos has created such consistent features throughout their entire platform, so you don't have to be looking around for different types of calculators. You can really just use Desmos, and it'll give you everything you need. Let me know if you need any help. Have a great day.